Coverage of DevCom has been brought to you by Xsola. Learn how you can get increased earnings for your game at the end of the video. Alright, so we talk a lot about different engines, and while we're definitely Unity bros, there are a lot of Godot bros and Unreal bros in our audience as well, and I just want to prove all of them wrong and talk about why Unity is so great. But I'm not I know how Unity works, but I'm not the best developer. So I brought the source to you guys by me. I'm here with Corey. Corey, can you give a quick intro of who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm Corey. I am one of the senior developer advocates here at Unity. I kind of focus on the EMEA region just now. Me and the team look out for the indies and any studio that are using the engine, visit them, provide some presentations, keep you up to date and well informed on the new Unity features that are available, and in essence provide you some information so you can go away and start using these tools into your games.
So your job is basically just talk about Unity professionally.
Talk, make, and see.
Yeah, okay.
It's brilliant. And then relay feedback. So everything that we hear, we're like, okay, guys, what do you think about this? And
So I'm just gonna fly straight in.
Okay, shoot.
Imagine I'm a brand new game developer, and I have been watching YouTube videos for the past 3 weeks of what's the best engine. I watched like the Bite Me tier list of game engines, but I'm still not sure.
Okay.
Why should I pick Unity? Is it the best engine? Maybe it's not.
I mean, I think it's fantastic, yeah. But also, the community makes up so much of it, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you're able to have a conversation with devs on the internet around a feature or a game, and there's a community there that are listening, that are like, oh, you should try this, or this is a cool idea, have you played this game before? It's like this mechanic.
Yeah.
It's so organic and natural to just have a conversation, because there's so many talented devs out there that are using Unity. It's wonderful, yeah.
So I should just join for the community? Is that why Unity is the ideal engine, or do we have some other?
Yeah. I mean, the community is definitely going to help you get onboarded. You know, if you've been looking at tutorials for 3 weeks, you're probably going to be pretty tired. So it's good to have that conversation and Unity discussions.
Yeah.
Like an intimate community where you can just talk through your ideas, get the exact tools and features you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in essence, you've got the HDRP, URP.
Yeah.
Unity, do you know where the definition for Unity comes from?
No, but it's a Danish company, so I just always assumed it was some hippie thing.
Okay, I actually like it. It comes from uniting democratizing multi-platform game development. Yeah. So having all these different pipelines merged into one platform, so developers can make a game across platforms with, as conveniently as possible. So I still think that stands like core to this day.
Yeah.
With any new platform that comes out, Unity adopts it, so then supports the devs to make it. And it makes it more exciting when you get to play with different hardware, right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm still not fully convinced.
Okay.
Because, I don't know if you saw like the Witcher 4 demo. Unreal does some really cool stuff as well with like the hair physics. And then, Godot is free. I don't have to pay anything for that. Like, is there anything that, you have like the Nanite and Lumen in Unreal, and then, Godot has their whole open source as like their benefit? I feel like Unity is like falling behind on the technical aspect, or is that different still?
I would say that you have to look at the different services, and also, Unity supports indies.
Yeah.
You have like the tier, I don't know the exact figure it is it
200,000?
Yeah, 200,000 where you're able to support. You can start a business with that.
Yeah.
And you're able to experiment and release. So
yeah, we don't pay for Unity still to this day.
Perfect. So. Well, then you can still create any game you want. With regarding the features, like I'm going back to the multi-platform, because you can have support for any platform you need. And HDRP is a beautiful pipeline.
Yeah.
I've seen indie devs create demos and full-fledged experiences, but with not a huge marketing budget, so you don't really hear about it in front-page media. When you go play them, there's a couple over here actually today. It's just incredible. Like they're like full ray-traced, using SMTP, which is spatial temporal post-processing in the graphics pipeline, which is brand new to Unity 6. You also have the new mesh load system, which allows you to auto-mesh, which basically takes a high poly mesh and automatically creates all your level of details. So you're able to run that on a quest. You can use the new resident drawer, GPU residence drawer.
Yeah, that's one
like
that we use. It's just free FPS, that one.
You press a button and it works. I mean, it hooks into the batch renderer group's API and then optimizes each draw call with it. So you're able to get this like very low level GPU pipeline changes based on the game you want. Because every game's got different styles.
Yeah.
Not every game is running for high fidelity. So everything's like supported out the box for you to experiment with.
But I think that's also a bit of a problem Unity has, no? Because you already mentioned like the HDRP.
Yeah,
but then there's
HDRP,
more
URP.
pipelines and whatever, and that immediately brings like the problem that a lot of new game developers have of like,
Don't know what one they want to use.
like and also tutorials. Yeah, which one should you use indeed? And then also like I had this a few times where I'm like, I'm gonna implement this certain thing in Unity. For example, transparent windows. You know, like the rusty retirement and whatever. And I find like I look it up on YouTube. I get a tutorial by CodeMonkey. Number one thing, it's got like 500,000 views or however much. But it's 7 years old and it doesn't work anymore. Because it's like, this was built on the built-in pipeline using the old input system. And I feel like it's starting to become a bit of a problem now for Unity developers of just finding good tutorials, because half of it is like URP or like they're working on HDRP so it doesn't apply, or it's old input system, new input system.
Interesting.
Is it like being unified at some point again? Are they going to get like the fourth standard?
I wouldn't know.
No.
I wouldn't know. I haven't been at the team for that long. I wouldn't know. But what I can say is that you need to know what you want to make and experiment and prototype. I know the learn.unity.com platform.
Yeah.
Like, so where you're saying this 3-week like introduction developer, like you're looking to make a 2D game or a 3D game, like the learn.unity.com platform really allows you to learn each pipeline through a catered tutorial, like start to finish. Like you have, if you want to go to the source, learn.unity.com has all of the tools, pipeline, optimization, like guided checkbox, work through this course, I've completed this course, get some points and then move to the next one, you know? So it's I like that way of education as well. Like it's like going to university.
Where you get the sets.
The whole, exactly. But you get the set course criteria, and as you learn along, you do your own research and you see what you like. And then the discussion forum allows you to discuss more details about render pipelines approaches. Why should I try this one? What do you think about this? So, like, again, I mean, as you've made and played with games before, it's not one solution fits all, I think.
Yeah. So. Do you think that, like, the render pipelines, because I think that's, like, one thing, how I almost see it, and I want to get your opinion on this, is like URP is like your first few projects, and then HDRP is like the new game plus in Unity, basically. Is that a statement you feel like you vibe with, or you feel like if you're brand new to Unity, you can also do HDRP? Because it feels like, at least like we've done both HDRP and
you're
URP.
talking about the differences between
like the
URP
differences,
and
like it's very overwhelming almost, because of like, you know, you get rid of so much of the safeguards. And it allows you to make more pretty games, but it's like, I don't know what half of these settings are, like I should do with it.
It's cool. Yeah, I think I started off with RP. And then I remember migrating.
Should you still do the standard built-in pipeline in 2025?
No. I wouldn't bother with that now. No. I'd go for URP. But I started, you know, crikey, many years ago now with RP. And then I remember when URP came out and you do that little learning curve in your head. It's like, wait, what? It's the same for URP, HDRP a little bit. But I think you're getting more options and flexibility to create the visual art style that you want, right? Because if you just add in like fog in a URP, right, you're not going to get your volumetric qualities that you do get in HDRP. But then do you want volumetric quality? Then if you don't, then you just stick with URP maybe, or... Yeah,
because it's like, it does give that paralysis of like changing from one pipeline to the other. It's pain and misery, so you kind of get stuck in that advantage. Is there like a way to figure out what's the best one, or?
Yeah, again, all I can say to that is, because it's a creative decision really on the art style and the features you want to have. So it would be like experimentation. There are many different approaches to that, but it also depends if you want to go for console or you want to go for PC.
Yeah, I think on console you basically have to do URP for the most part.
Or HDRP.
You can,
because you got the power and the you know, to run ray tracing and 4x SMAA. You know, you can use these like post-processing features as well that probably wouldn't run that well on a mobile device. Which you're probably targeting for URP. So then you're almost like, okay, well, if these are the platforms I want to launch to, then maybe I could consider HDRP and remove certain features.
Basically look at the platforms. If you're only doing a Steam release, you could do HDRP. Like if you're doing a 2D pixel art game, probably you don't need
It'll be interesting, to see what a HDRP 2D game would look like.
Have you encountered one of those yet in your adventures?
I can't think of one. But do you know Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yeah.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps? Like, that's a beautiful game. I think that's using our custom render pipeline that the team made. There's a good documentary on that on YouTube, I think. That's the thing where I learned it from.
We have been having a lovely conversation so far, but unfortunately there's like probably 15 developers like in the comments right now that are yelling at me, because that's the problem that I have to deal with as a Unity developer on YouTube of like,
oh no,
but my runtime fee, but all of
right,
this, like,
yeah.
I think we can't have this conversation without unfortunately bringing it up, even though I feel like Unity definitely wants to move past it at some point. Of like, you know, the runtime fee was not a great point for Unity. And a lot of people then made that jump to other engines. Yeah. Do you think that like Unity is working on some cool stuff to kind of bring back some of the trust, and then maybe also some developers to go back to Unity?
I think it's like, I've only just joined the team, and from what I've seen and how the team are reacting, it's going to be a concern that users don't trust. But if you're continually releasing features and showing up and helping and being completely transparent, like there's on the Unity discussion forums, I couldn't believe how engaged Unity is as a company there.
Yeah.
If you post something, the team's going to see it, and you're engaging, and we're reading it, and the teams who made a specific product are reading it. And Mike Geig, now principal advocate, fantastic communication line to the developers to hear what everyone's saying. And perfect example was, you know, years ago the runtime fee happened now, and
yeah, it's been almost 2 years. I feel,
can't remember. Crikey.
We're getting old.
I forgot. I was doing my PhD at the time. I was like, that was a long time ago.
What would you say to someone who is like on the fence of like, I don't know if Unity's gonna pull another rug under me? Because that's the rough part of like, you know, you're pushing good features, but
right. I mean, the new features are coming out, the transparency and the ability to react. I mean, for me, you know, seeing a reactive team is and is genuinely talking and listening and communicating back and having discussions. It's positive, right? I mean, the worst thing you could have is when people are saying stuff and nothing happens. But the reality is, again, the discussion forums, everyone's active talking, and I think, and again, to quote Mike, he says, done their job well when the community can look at us as developers as well. Because I'm a developer in Unity. I still have my passion projects. Like, to the day I die, I'll be using Unity to make my own projects, because it's my tool in my toolbox that allows me to be creative and make what I want. And, you know, it would be devastating if somebody took that away from me. So I don't think... that's not going to happen.
You're going to personally fight the pricing department.
Well, the advocacy team, we're here to hear and speak to everyone. And like, we're developers ourselves, so you're speaking to, you know, you're a dev, I'm a dev. We could probably talk about code
for the next 5 hours if we really wanted to.
And I think that's where it comes to it. It's like, you know, if you're able to communicate and be very canon about how you feel about certain things, then feedback's heard. And
so about those features that you're like, oh, we're just going to keep pushing features. Do you have like some of the upcoming stuff of like, what should developers look forward to with Unity?
Because I can't, like, again, advocacy team 6.2 just got released a week ago. New AI features in there or something that I know everyone's listening to. I like the auto LOD, mesh LOD.
Oh yeah, the auto
Android XR. Feature platform support.
Is Android a platform that people still have a lot of, like Android XR, is that like a lot of interest in it still?
I think it's because OpenXR. If you can find to the OpenXR standard, you're in such a good position for like longevity. So Google Play as well, Apple, various Unity services. So the ad networks, the Unity services, if you haven't checked out Unity services recently, I so recommend it. I couldn't believe how many features are on there. You know, you have sign-in leaderboards, multiplayer, demos, sample packs for XR and 2D and 3D, analytics, localization. Like the Unity service, like the online portal for services, there's so many things to experiment with there.
Yeah, because that immediately does, you know, those services is also kind of what I feel like a lot of developers kind of dislike about Unity almost, where, you know, we live in 2025 where everything is a subscription at this point. You're not getting away with that. But like, you know, a lot of developers, they just want a good engine to make a PC game, and they don't care about in-app monetization and payment processing and all that.
Yeah.
Or is that for like around that runtime fee time as well? What's what Unity seemed to be pushing on, because that was unfortunately what was making the money for the most part. Is there like more stuff as well that is more of for like, you know, the hardcore indie gamers basically who are just want to make good experience, they don't care about multiplayer and all of that? Like, is there cool stuff in that regard coming?
Well, I think that, like if you want to create a multiplayer, you know, indies make multiplayer games all the time. You probably want to have the least abrasive time to market in your prototype or final product, right? And if these services, which they're available with demos and sample scenes, you're able to make it quickly. I think that's like the best scenario. If you want to make a multiplayer game, cool. You have the multiplayer center, which is available now, and you're quite have you seen the multiplayer center?
I have not, no.
It's really cool.
So what does it do?
It's by default built into the engine now. It's a window that pops up that you in essence say, I want to make this type of game, multiplayer, 4-person, peer-to-peer, and then it will configure it and set it up for you in the engine.
Okay.
And you can have this multiplayer window appear, and you're able to do like a local multiplayer builds and
that relies then on like some sort of the Unity service.
Distributed authority. There's different types. You got
because you mentioned like peer-to-peer, which I'm like, okay, peer-to-peer, that sounds like something.
But you probably want to have relay as well, because you're going to have to port punch wherever it is to make sure you can do multiplayer across firewalls. So then Unity relay service is there, so then you don't have to worry about paying for server costs if you're an indie, for example, on a budget. Instead, you're just using the relay service, which in essence just
does like the sets
the
up
IP.
the peer-to-peer.
Pretty much.
I think we looked into it as well.
It's good. Like that's what I'm playing with just now. I like it a lot. I like that idea because it's like, as an indie, you're trying to keep your costs down while you develop, and for one, I think you can develop for X amount of time without worrying about you need to be in gigabytes of bandwidth. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. You don't have to pay for the services until you've. I don't know if they're different per service actually, but
You mentioned before like your job is to talk to game developers basically and then take feedback of it. What is like the biggest pain point you see with a lot of developers right now? That if you are like inside of Unity on a crusade for something, because you're like, I have so many developers, and maybe it's like something that is not realistic immediately.
So what's the community saying?
Yeah, what is like the thing that you notice is like the biggest demand from the community, or like the biggest problem?
A magic button. Like I can say something we did. Data developer framework.
Oh yeah, that's in the new version
6.2.
or something, right? Okay, what I saw it pass by, but I actually have no idea what it is.
Right.
Can you give me a quick rundown?
I'll do my best. When you create an account to use Unity services or Unity, you want to be sure you know where your data goes. Yeah. And the data developer framework allows you to see this. And it's complete transparency, so you know what data is being collected.
The data as a developer or as a player?
As a developer or a player. Like you're getting transparency on everything that's and the reasoning, and you can opt out, and by default I think you're opt out of many things anyway. But that's something that people kept asking in many of the sessions that we've had, was like, what happens here, what happens there? It's
I guess also with, like, for example, the Unity AI, where a lot of developers do not want to ship their code to some LLM.
Data developer framework, and that's kind of the answer to that. And that happened in the time I
think it's 6.2, right?
That
came out
it literally came out, 6.2. And I mean, to me, that's like a perfect example, to be honest with you. Because that was something I've actively witnessed in my short little period here so far. And
so you're a developer as well, like you work on your own stuff then. There's, the Unity asset store is a big part of Unity as well. That's like if you look at Godot, like, I'm sorry Godot bros, but the Godot asset store is not anywhere near as good. Like you didn't have one 2 months ago, basically. And for Unity, it's just so powerful because there are like 10 years of backlog of like very powerful code assets. I think there was a guy here at DevCom now who did the text animating framework asset.
Yes.
Where he's just talking about like, that has funded my studio for the last 10 years.
Yeah, literally. Like this creates people's
But there's
studios.
A problem now, I would say as well, where we see this on basically every asset store and on Steam and all of that, where with AI, there's just so much stuff being pumped into it of like low quality, just like, this is 100 female icons or whatever. And it's just 100 AI generated faces. How do you see the asset store evolve now, where there's so much content suddenly being like added onto it, where big problem with the asset store now is that we're looking at 3 to 4 months like time between submitting and being approved.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's miserable. We uploaded a few of our assets as well, and it took literally 4 months for us, and now we're like, well, we're not gonna bother because we had some cool internal tools.
Interesting.
But we were just like, I don't think, because I don't want to, it's like one guy I feel that's left to run the entire asset store.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How do you see like that kind of maybe evolve?
Well, I'll write that down for a start. I have seen more, I mean, I think you can attest to this, say in the past 10 years how the asset store's evolved.
Yeah.
At the start, you would see more just like little first-person samples and maybe a cool particle effect. But now you're getting full-on like businesses that are based out of the store.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the next 10 years are going to have when people are able to automate more with their back-end, code generation or optimizing their like render pipeline in AI.
Yeah.
I have no idea, because you're looking at an area of the market as well that everyone finds so progressive, with the AI, Unity AI assistant that has context of the engine currently. So you can like, get me the 5 rocks I've put in the scene. It will go and collect the 5 rocks and I'll change them to purple, and it will change them to purple. Like that kind of context, understanding the workspace in the scene environment that you're in, that's quite powerful. And I don't know how, like, what influence could that have on creating assets? Like,
because right now also the Unity Asset Store is still rejecting codes if there's like traces of AI generated code.
Oh yeah, I think there's a policy you have. There's policy you have to go through and check.
Yeah.
That it's following. I don't actually know what the policy is. I haven't uploaded it in a while. But I reckon like checking the policy, keeping up to date with it. I mean, it's interesting. I'll look into it more because I wasn't aware.
Yeah. I also brought I don't have anything physical, but I brought some viewer questions as well.
Okay.
Because I'm just one developer. We have a lot of other questions, and one question that I got a few times is, what about dots? What's
cool.
The end,
ECS.
Yeah, like ECS and dots, where it is indeed very cool, like you said.
Yeah.
But it feels like kind of the red-headed stepchild that like, yes, it works, but there's like developers like, yes, you can follow the default tutorial, but the moment you want to do anything moderately complex, you're gonna have to start like writing your own extensions for like instead of like what they told me is in Unity you barely have to open the game object like source script basically. Whereas with ECS that is way more of a thing. There's still like, I think Unity is still shipping ECS updates and dots updates every day, because you can't like open it in hierarchy and things like that.
Oh right, okay.
What's the evolution of dots? Is it supposed to merge with mainline Unity at some point? Sure. Or you think it's gonna be always two separate?
I'm not sure. I generally am not sure on
that.
I like Dots supports like a multi-threaded framework between entities, components, and the system they derive from. I don't think your use case is always going to lean in on dots.
Yeah, it's like it's sometimes you need like a lot of stuff. It's very cool.
Yeah, to interact with the physics engine and move around. You're also looking at animations, and you have to consider optimization for those if you have many entities on screen as well. I would say that they're different, but also like they're not meant to be used exclusively from each other. They're meant to be like kind of intertwined, I would say, at this point. Like, if you're going to create a game with like 300 zombies chasing you, your UI and everything's probably still running in an update function, let's just say, if you're not using events. Bad example, but like not everything needs to be based on that system. But the enemies, however, running around, updating every frame to a new transform, translate position.
It's very inefficient.
Yeah, so you want to do that within a multi-threaded batch within dots or ECS.
Yeah.
So again, it's like catering to the design requirement you have. So this hybrid approach is kind of what I'm looking at right now. I don't know. It really depends.
So you think it's going to be like more people will be using dots, but it won't be like dots exclusively will be the way forward?
I don't know. I generally think there are probably developers out there who do have dots exclusive, like voxels. Ray marching, they're probably using exclusive dots for so many cool ideas. I have never thought about making a voxel game, but you can imagine how many entities are on screen with that.
I wouldn't suggest making a voxel game, I think, as well, because I think it's a very hard genre.
Oh yeah. Actually just last week on the Unity Live channel, they had a team on go through their voxel game based in ECS dots, and check it out. It's really interesting. But yeah, at the moment personally, I don't have a project that uses exclusively dots, for example, right? Like I haven't gotten to that point yet where it could go.
I feel like it's kind of like HGRP where not everyone
needs it. That's an interesting comparison.
That's kind of how I see it. It's like dots is the HGRP, but then instead of like visual, it's code-wise.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is that a good comparison?
That's I like that. Well, in my head, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you're right, because you have features that you probably want to enable on one platform that you wouldn't need on another. And having a multi-threading would probably be really advantageous for one of those hyper-casual mobile games with, a million entities,
yeah.
or and also for running experiments. This isn't necessarily game dev, but flocking algorithms, particle systems.
I've heard also like a lot of like students, like thesis students and whatever, they just plug it into like the ECS thing to visualize it basically.
Yeah, like fluid dynamics, airflow, which again is fluid, but yeah, like you're looking at many applications for having particle systems in real time using dots as well.
I have another viewer question. I'm not sure how much of an answer you can give on this one.
Okay.
Why is it Unity 6? And is it just because you want it to be one number higher than Unreal and two numbers higher than Godot?
I'm definitely not.
Or what's like, because the naming is definitely a rough one, because it's like now it's 6.2, which is supported, but it's not LTS. And then it's like you have to drop 6.1 now, ideally. It's so confusing. Can you give a bit more information on how the naming works?
Again, I'm a developer advocate. I don't know this much detail on the semantics. The Unity is a massive company with many talented members. They're actually walking around here today, so I can't attest to that. But what I can say is I like how it's now 6.1, 6.2, going through the LTS support after beta stage, because what was the naming conventions before? It was like
2022.3.44
F1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the build I ran off as well. 2023.0 F1. But it's like it's kind of like, rather than doing like yearly releases, it's my understanding, like
like they did like 3 big releases a year, basically.
It's now kind of maintaining. I've like, have you migrated a project to 6.0?
No, only from 6 to 6.2 now.
Right.
But
have you had any issues?
No, it was instant. Like
exactly.
I think there was something about the materials that changed, maybe a URP version. And
okay.
I clicked OK, and I waited 2 minutes. Yeah. Where indeed there used to be a lot of horror. I mean, I don't know if there are still a lot of horror stories where you're stuck on whatever version you're at.
Yeah, I remember hopping between like 2019 to then 2021 to then 2023, and that project migrated to 6. So a bit 6.0 support has been really cool. I migrated my project to 6 as soon as I saw GPU instancing.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, 70% more frames for doing nothing. It's just fantastic. Yeah, so 6.0, I like it. It feels more stable, and I like it's much more simple for me to understand 6.
I do like, I'm just using Unity 6, and it's a higher number.
Yeah.
So that's what we do it
6.
for.
Yeah. It's much easier than 2023.2.3 F1.
The final viewer question that I got, and this is a question that probably it's like, the answer is going to be whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you think Unity still uses that skybox for the default skybox? The default. Is it just a single ploy so that a player can immediately spot a Unity asset flip?
It's made in
because
Unity.
It's like so obvious, or is there another reason you think?
What do you think?
I don't know, because I feel like it's so easy to, in every Unity update, just ship a new skybox.
Oh,
it looks
really?
so much better.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Like, interesting. So you want each version to have a unique skybox?
That could be an approach, like how macOS has like different backgrounds every version.
Cool. Oh, cool.
It's mainly just,
like a color associated
the default state. I think this is a good one maybe to compare with, like, Unity is very powerful, and every checkbox stuff to make something look good is checked off by default, but they're all there.
Yeah.
Whereas in Unreal, if you just start a new project, all of those checkboxes are checked on, and it has that Unreal look, which is like the opposite of the Unity look then.
Out the box.
Where you have to uncheck a lot of stuff. And I think the skybox is like one of those very clear examples of like the default lighting to make the games just look like Unity asset flips in the end of the day, because that's usually the one they use.
I know my team's here, and some of the people in this are so talented. They've been at Unity for so long. I would love to hear what they have to say about that.
I'll see if we can find them today. I'm going to cut in the part here as well.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I mean, quite iconic. I don't know if I want them to change my skybox, actually. Maybe I like it.
But you never ship a game with that skybox, I feel.
Don't think so.
It's like one of the first things that I just replace as well.
Swap it over, because you can have the gradient now, right?
You can have,
if you go into lighting, you can just set it to a gradient.
Yeah, I generally do like the skybox and like HDRIs and whatever.
All right, yeah.
So it's just the default one is like so ugly.
I have no idea. Yeah, it's interesting. I actually, when I'm in a game, I tend to, when I'm prototyping, I kind of disregard lighting, and the camera, you can view skybox or color. I just view like a gray background.
Color? Oh, that's a hardcore approach. You just focus purely on.
If I'm doing UI.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I disregard the skybox, because if you have indirect light, like skybox lighting.
Yeah, I turned that one off instantly as well.
Yeah. Because I'm not about to mess with that. if I can't even get my UI working.
I have one final question.
Shoot.
More of a personal one for you.
Yeah.
Let's say that Unity tomorrow is like, you do not need to talk to people anymore. All you have to do is make a game in 6 months.
6 months?
Using Unity, and you have to do it solo.
Again, okay.
What would you make? And why do you think it would be a great game?
Okay. I am probably going to say I'm going to continue working on my weekend projects.
What's the weekend project? Or it's every weekend a different project?
Yeah, same projects. I've been working on it maybe 5 years, every Sunday, in between work projects over the course of 5
What is it?
years.
What's the pitch?
I like cute, cozy games, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going for that. I want something where I can listen to my audiobook or a podcast and do something idle while progressively like getting something from it, whether it's like loot or new environments to explore, maybe a little bit of dialogue, but not
So
much.
you're just making the most enormous cozy idler, basically. If
Pretty
it's been
much.
5 years in development.
It's design, you know.
Yeah, you've been thinking about it.
They say what's your Roman Empire, what you're thinking about all the time in the background or whatever. It's like this has been my little like cozy thing. But I think that goes a testament to like what you can make, right? You know, it doesn't have to be like this massive thing. It can always just be like what you want. And I'm kind of that type of dev. I make what I want and then release it, and if anybody likes it, then rate and you hear feedback and stuff. But I love making games. It's so fun.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much for the quick rundown on Unity, and I think there were definitely some interesting insights still.
Cool.
So, is there like, should people contact you, or if they have feedback about Unity?
Discussions.
It's the discussion forums.
Yeah,
That's
discussion.
the, like,
100%.
One thing, make a thread. This is my opinion about.
Find the area you were in, if it's like URP or mobile, and just put the title saying, I was curious about this, and community will help if not a member of staff. Yeah. I'm in there, Mike's in there.
So everybody, it doesn't matter what engine you're working in right now, you just drop it and you switch to Unity. That's the optimal approach, right?
Cool. Yeah.
It's better for you.
Whatever works for you.
Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Big shout out once again to Xsola, who made this coverage possible and sponsoring my event coverage here. I have some great news for you if you're a game developer and you're looking into earning more money. As in the wake of the Apple versus Epic court ruling, mobile game developers are now able to link to external payment platforms from their apps in comparison to having to rely on, for example, the Apple's built-in payment platform, which takes 30%, which is a very high amount of money to take. This allows you to retain way more revenue whilst also being able to streamline the experience for your players, whether they're buying from mobile, from PC, or from any other platform basically. And the good thing is you can get started with minimal setup today by integrating either the Xsola buy button or the Xsola web shop in your applications as well. There's a link down below that gives you a bit more information of how it all works. So thank you very much for Xsola for sponsoring the video, and thank you very much for watching it.